Hello, it's Linda again from Zero Debt for Me. I have a thought. Gambling. What does everyone think of gambling? A lot of people do gamble. They go to the casinos and I'm only spending $50 or whatever. I personally don't do that, but I have a story from when I was 17. My first real job was working on a lottery machine at the local mall, in the middle of the mall. And this gentleman used to come in every day and spend $60 to $70 in the daily number and the big four. And he'd throw his little numbers out. I can see him in my head. He had like a little hat on with a little feather in it and a little fake leather coat with burlap here. We're in the 70s. We're in the late 70s. So he had burlap here and he had a little mustache and he was probably about 75 maybe. Anyway, so he'd come in and he'd throw his tickets, his paper at me and he'd say, "Here you jinx." And I'm like, what did I do? I was just ringing your numbers up for you. So one day he came back over. He came back over to me and he goes, "You rang up the wrong number." And he was so mad. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, well, first of all, it's his responsibility to check his numbers before he leaves the station. So I pick up this ticket and I look at it and I'm like, well, you won $500. It's $1 straight. And he went, "That's not the number I played." And I'm like, okay. I'm like, what does he want me to do here? So I gave him his ticket back, but I saw the addiction and I told myself I will never gamble. I lied to buy one scratch off ticket and I made $4.25 an hour back then. That was like your gross, $4.25 minus taxes. So what do I get? Like $3.50 back? I don't know, $3.75, I'm taking home. So anyway, I spent $1. I wasn't even old enough to buy these. I was 17. You had to be 18. So I bought the ticket and I scratched it off and I lost and I was so mad. Because in the 70s, late 70s, it's different than it is today. $1 was a big deal, So, but gambling, when I was in college, I took statistics and we concentrated on the lottery because probability of winning the lottery is like 1 in, 320 million for this game. And depending on how many, like the 3-digit number, or the 4-digit number, or the lot pick 6 thing, la, la, la. But that just drummed it in, So I personally think it's a waste of money. I don't think it's entertainment. Me going to a casino and putting even a nickel in a machine and losing it and just keep putting nickels in there. Oh no. Oh my gosh. And the thing is, though, people say, well, I won $500 or I won $1,000. Okay. You won $1,000. How long did you play before you won that $1,000? Also, you get a dopamine rush when you win because it's almost like, wow, I'm so happy. This is great. And you get a dopamine rush. So that my head would make you go back and you'd want another one of those rushes. So it's kind of addictive, maybe. Does anybody ever win the lottery for 500, 1,000, 2,000 and never go back to gambling? I think the probability of that's pretty low that people would not go back to gambling after they won money. But the other thing is there's a show on TV. I don't watch too much mainstream TV. And it tells you about the lottery winners and how they all lost all their money and all this stuff. And that might be a good thing to watch. It's just one of my pet peeves because of working on that lottery machine. The one store manager there spent his entire paycheck on the lotto, the 6-digit lotto when it came out. He had a stack of cards like this, and I think they had 4 or 6 blocks across or whatever. And he had this whole big stack. It was $282 worth of tickets. And I told him, he said, I have to go back to my store and check on it. I said, you can't leave the line. And the line went all the way around the middle of the mall, you know, and he won $22 or something, $22 out of 282. Now, that was his take-home pay back in the late 70s for a store manager at a mall store. So we're in very different times than we are now, but, you know, so I don't know. So that's my take on that. You know, I hope you enjoyed. If you don't agree with me, that's okay. If you want to go gamble, that's okay. But, you know, I just wanted to express my views on gambling, and it's not really feasible for wealth building. So, okay, well, have a good day. Thanks for visiting, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.